So we're at what was the biggest carpenter's workshop on the Wilts Berks Canal, and soon will be again. So today we're on the Wilts Berks. I'm at Pewsham Locks again, one of my favourite spots, and I'm here for a very special reason. The Carpenters workshop, which has been planned for a long time, is finally going in. So over here we have the lorry with all the bits on board, and over there we have foundations down, scaffolding up, all ready to go. So as you can see, it's over there, scaffolding is up around the side, there's people ready to go. When that's got through the gate over there, they've got the concrete bit at the back is like maybe the toilet block and stuff, and then you've got the main classroom and stuff on the end there. It's going to be used for educational purposes, hopefully have school visits and trips and stuff down here. And then you've got the dry dock down there, which has been put on hold whilst this is going. Basically funding was given for this that had to be used, so they had to pause the dry dock so they could spend the money before it was beyond the date that they were allowed to do it. So just fixing the base plates down now. As you can see, that's been drilled into the brickwork to serve the damp proof course, and then the main timber frame will go on top of that. So they had a bit of a problem here. The lorry can't get through, so they've had to pull the post out. Small problem. So the lorry's got down the lane and we're lifting the first pallet now. They're loading it down onto pallets down there, and I think that might be being handballed across then. I'm not sure, because there's not a crane down here to lift across. And I'm not sure if they're using the excavator maybe as well, they could lift it with that individually. So they're not hanging around at all. I've already got one panel up, and they're doing one on the end there. It is all manual handling. So timber frames are stupidly quick. It's basically all pre-built, and then you have the base plate. You'll nail it down to the base plate, and then you just nail them all together as you go around. They've got straps on there as well, so there'll be metal straps coming up to fix them into place. But it is that easy because of the planning that's put into it. So they're bringing as many pallets as they can up here now, and they're sort of loading it along the edge there. So they're all numbered. The timbers on the floor are numbered to the plans, and they're just loading the panels. Then they're loading each one as they go, putting them in the right place. It's just going to take a few weeks to finish it all. I think the roofing's coming from Norway, but the idea is that all the panels will be up today. So you've got the main structure up, and then they've got to do the glued edges and the trusses and stuff, and then the roofing's coming through. But like I said, that's all from Norway, so they can't do that until it arrives, basically. So these panels are just being brought as close as possible. So obviously being inside like that is perfect. You've only got a certain amount of reach with the excavator, so it's all about getting it as close as possible. It's Seville Timber, I think they're called. I'll put a link in the description. They're based in Frome if you're looking for someone for a similar project. So some of the other structures on here, I always go on about this saw pit. So you can't normally see anything on it, any of the brickwork, because it's so overgrown, but it's well trimmed back now. Being the time of year it is, this will grow up a little bit over time, but there's plenty of brickwork here to look at. So that they've unloaded from the lock, I guess, rather than the pound, and then sort of across, and then through the end doors out there. This is the bottom lock there, middle lock here. So the bottom lock's partially restored, and they've done a lot of this stuff on each side. You've got the dry dock over there in that gap, and then sort of the wing walls and waiting walls and stuff are all done. And this is middle lock, which is something I can't really show you at the moment because it's so overgrown. This is probably going to be the last bit to be done, I would imagine. So this is the top lock, as I said. This has all been done recently. You can see this has all been cast up and above there. This wall was done end of last year, well, most of last year, and this bit was done the end of last year. So they've repaired most of the other side. They're just cleaning up and raking out into here. Look, you can see they put slurry over it now. So the slurry is because of the lime mortar. It's on this originally. Now they're replacing with lime mortar, but the problem is with lime mortar, once it's it's dry, it's old, it's flaking. So every time they're brushing out to try and clean this up to be able to do the brickwork, more and more of the lime's just coming out. So you slurry it up, and then you can replace the bricks and use the lime mortar, which is going to be done again, and you've just got something good to adhere to. and you can see how it's laid. You've got sort of staggered bricks, and they go different ways depending on the part of the lock wall you're looking at. And the bridge is going to be right above us here, going across, and then we'll be down into here, into the lock gates and into the main lock itself. You can see the brickwork on the bottom of the lock here itself. Curves down into the bottom, which is why it's still got water in. So if you haven't been around construction much before, and you haven't experienced timber framing, then I'm going to amaze you right now. The beauty of it is, because it's all pre-planned and pre-built, it is super quick. Now, I was here half an hour ago filming, and they were just putting up that second panel there. So they put that panel up over there, and they've moved a load of panels, and they've done that corner over there as well. It's that quick. It takes no time at all. So they'll have this up in probably 3 hours completely, have the walls up, and they're all sort of nailed together. And then you've got the membrane will go around it as well. So they've got small sections in between the big sections, and that basically is where they will be putting timbers in and hanging across, I think. And the main beams will go for the roof. There's another drone up in the air. That's the Wilts Berks themselves recording. So they now have an active YouTube channel. They've had a YouTube channel for a while, but there's been some changes recently, and they've finally got it up and going. So you will be able to see these different take on this on their channel. So please do hit the subscribe button. I will put a link in the description, and support them as much as you can, because it's things like this where they'll earn a bit of money on eventually, which will help to contribute to projects like these. So it looks like it's not that strong at the moment. You'll see when they're doing stuff how much it moves, but once you've got all the sides in, and then you've got the sort of roof structure on, and anything holding it together, you create a square which becomes a lot stronger. You see it rocking now as they're trying to move it into place.
Well, as you can see behind me, the guys are constructing the Carpenters workshop at the minute. We knew there was a Carpenters workshop on site from an old tithe map back in 1860, but we couldn't pinpoint exactly where it was till we started to do a bit of excavation work and discovered the remains of the brick floor. Sadly, that's all there was, the brick floor, but at least we had an idea of the site. You can probably see behind me that that workshop is huge, much bigger than any other workshop we've seen on canal lines, and this one's particularly unique to the Pewsham site. We're not aware of another workshop on the Wilts Berks Canal line at all, and we did find evidence of a fire hearth inside the building, so it might have doubled up as a blacksmith type shop where they might have made nails or metal work for the locks, etc., as well as woodworking. We've decided that the Carpenters workshop is too good a building not to be used throughout the year, so it will be available as an educational unit. But the bottom line is that we want it to look, the interior, as it would have done in 1860, which was the basically the middle years of the canal usage. We believe it was used for either boat component making and certainly lock work because of the size of the workshop itself, and we do have evidence that they were boat building in the bottom pound, which is behind the Carpenters workshop. But of course, anywhere along the Wilts Berks Canal line that needed timber work would have been done in that workshop. It is a fairly big unit. We're doing our best to make it comfortable for those inside when there is educational work going on with insulation, etc. So it's a modern day build, but it will look, when we're finished, like an 1860 Carpenter's workshop, complete with Welsh slate tile roof, as it would have been back in the day, because we found plenty of that. And hopefully it'll be a good asset to the local community to come down and enjoy, as well as a historical element of the Wilts Berks as it was back in the day.
So I've just had a quick sandwich, spent 10 minutes doing a little interview with Dave there, and so let's see how far they've come. They've just put in this panel, big panel up here, so they've done one more on this side. I need to keep away from them a little bit while they're working, and most of that internal wall as well. So this is going to have two different roof heights. So this is the old building here basically, which is the same footprint. That's going to have a higher roof than the new bit, which is technically the extension, which is a toilet block in the kitchen and stuff on the far end, which is going to have a lower pitch on it. It's amazing really. It's 1:15 and they've nearly finished the main structure. I think they're leaving some panels out because they've obviously got to put all of the roof trusses in and all that, which aren't here yet. So I think they're leaving you can see the big triangular panel there. I think they're leaving that side out so they can get access in and put scaffolding through and stuff like that as well.
The actual Carpenters workshop is quite a large area. These windows are massive. They've been put in to kind of try and make it look more like it would have been at the time. I think it was quite open. You're going to have the barn doors going on the end, and they're not really too sure how they're going to finish those yet. There's plans that they might put a glass panel inside, but it's not going to look as natural as they want it to look. This is the cladding. It's about 1.5 inches thick, and the idea is they're gonna clad it but not treat it, so it can get the oxygen, the air to it, and it will start to grade down over time. It should then look a lot more natural, where they can hopefully try and protect it from anybody who feels they may be able to damage it. So now it goes the last panel. You can see where the guy's walking through in the orange now. That's going to be where the doors are. And now this is all ready for the roof. If you look closely where there's a panel leant up against the wall on the inside, you'll see where there's a larger chunk of wood there. That's multiple pieces of wood stood upright, and there's a cutout on the top for the beams to go across that would join the whole thing together. That gives more rigidity, having a large chunk of timber there, than it does just having a single timber.
When the guys said they'd be done in half hour, when they were over by that door over there, I thought, oh, they're packing up. No, they're finishing it. They're just going to be done in half an hour. Shows you how quick it is. I'm not sure what they're going to do now, because they're going to have to try and brace that somehow without those pieces there. So here we go. This is, I think, going to be barn doors across here. There's a panelling going across the whole outside, and the inside will need to be insulated. And to try and keep it as traditional as possible, they're going to panel the insides as well. So if you imagine it before, they would have had beams in here, and then sort of roof trusses, and then they would have just panelled the outside. So from the inside you would have seen the back end of the panelling. So to replicate that, they're going to panel the inside, but this will be insulated and there's stuff to make it more comfortable and warmer for people using it. And then you've got a kitchen area in here, and they're not sure how this is going to be finished. This is a modern extension to it, so probably plasterboarded and maybe lime plaster or something like that on it, just because it's going to be cold. And then a toilet in here. I think that's going to be 2 toilets from what I understand. I think there's going to be a disabled toilet and a standard toilet in here. I think I'll be doing the plumbing on that. Thank you to Plumbase, who are donating the suite in Chippenham. Big thank you to Brett, the manager, and everyone else, all the rest of the team, who have agreed to it. So I'll do more on this as the build progresses. There's obviously a roof still to go on here, which is going to be done in a few weeks when the materials are here. I'll try and get down here and do some filming then as well, when Civil are back here doing it again. There's going to be a lot done by volunteers. I think all the panelling is being done by volunteers, and a lot of the internal stuff will be done by volunteers as well. They've got quite a good range of skills on this canal. There's quite a big team here now that volunteer. It's actually massive compared to what it used to be. There's a lot of new volunteers, and they've all got their own skills. So from a huge Carpenters workshop, have a great day.